Alright, this is an interesting one that I haven't even shown you guys yet, but we're about to. So, this is a 5.2 liter, the V8 Grand Cherokee. I don't know what the fuck the technical name for these things are, an MJ, XJ, fucking jerk-off J, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Anyway, this thing, we thought it'd be cool to make a turbo V8 Jeep. And the cheapest way that we found, because like I mentioned before, we're relatively fucking poor, is one of these things that already have V8 in it. Believe me, it's not, clapped XJ like we love, but it'll get the job done, and it is a fucking animal. Basically our goal out of everything is always cheap as possible and as hassle-free as possible. So this one, if you thought my purple Jeep was bad, this one is really bad. This one has an HX35 on it, basically a Cummins turbo. Naturally, we couldn't afford the Cummins turbo, so we got a Turbone turbo off of eBay. I believe it was like $140. Same deal as the other one, boost controller, check valve, blah blah blah, wastegate, or whatever the fuck it's called, blow off valve. This one, same deal, external, let me think, internal wastegate, same T3 mount. This one's a classic. It's only got fucking 3 bolts because we couldn't afford the 4th one. And then obviously the turbo drain kit, like you've seen on our other ones. This one is a quality mount. It goes right into the oil cap because the guy we got this thing from naturally already had 2 fucking oil caps, so it was meant to be turboed, clearly. The other thing we did too was PCV snorkel. It's very efficient. Really good for visualizing stuff. Also, couldn't afford anything else but zip ties, so there's nothing holding it on besides the zip ties. Also, this fancy cut in the body to, make it a clean install because there was no other option. Anyway, and then also the carburetor / throttle body hat. This is, I have no words. I literally have no words to even explain. We started looking at them online because they make these things just much better quality than this, obviously, and we couldn't find any that were under $100, and that's obviously out of budget. So our whole plan was to originally use the plastic one that comes on these, but wouldn't work because it kept blowing off. It was so thin. So we basically took a round piece of plate and a 5-inch well casing, welded the plate to the well casing, cut a hole in it with a hole saw, welded a 1.5-inch pipe, I'd like to say, or maybe even a 2-inch with a 90, and ran that right into our classic Mishimoto boot, which was, you guys probably think it's expensive. Don't kid yourself. It was $4. It's the only reason we got it. So yeah, we got that, and then we could not figure out how to do the exhaust on this one. This one was a fucking complicated deal, which I can't even show you because all these fucking weeds. But anyway, right off the Y pipe, actually, factory Y pipe. We cut it right right before the cap. And nice hole in the frame as well. It hangs a little low, but it ain't, you get what you get. And more or less, we just ran that up. We had to have use of this door, so we had to take the fender off because nobody needs fenders. Brackets also weren't in the budget, so we just welded it right to the body. This is 2-inch pipe, and then basically a 90 that was probably bent in the vise at some point. To a piece of 2¼ pipe because we didn't have any more 2.5-inch and couldn't find any on the side of the road. squared it off in the vise, welded it to our T3 mount, and yeah, that's about it. Then on this one, the exhaust is really custom. Couldn't afford the flange to weld on, so instead they got this just welded right to it. I think this is a 3.5 inch, just 90. Eventually it's gonna get a 45-foot stack, but for now this is what we have. So yeah, that's pretty much the overview on this one. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I don't think we had to do anything as far as tuning or injectors or check. Oh, you know what? We did. We actually had to do a check valve just like we did on the 4.0s, which I'll show you. Map sensor, which is right here. It's normally on the throttle body in there with those 2 screws. We just ran vacuum hose to that, throw check valve in, right to the map sensor, and that was it. Basically just let it flop around there because it doesn't matter. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about how to do it on a 5.2, let me know.